Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 4th episode of the Stevenage Football Club podcast. With only 9 days to go till Borough's big kick-off in our 7th League 2 campaign and arguably one of the biggest seasons for our club in the Football League, we have plenty to discuss on today's podcast. Discussions over recent pre-season results, a quick discussion on Saturday's last pre-season friendly fixture at home against Gillingham, a quick look back at the Open Day, which was a big success, the League 2 roundup, the fans Q&A section, and of course the podcast's new and exciting feature, Harley and Farley's Disagreement Corner. Hosted by myself and Borough fan Matt Farley, along with guests of the podcast discussing everything Borough, everything League 2, every week of the season. So, with me today, 2 regulars on the podcast now, 2 Borough fans. We will start with my second in command, massive Borough fan, Harley Clark. Welcome back, Harley.
Hello.
He's back again.
I'm always here.
We can't keep him away.
Just love it.
He's here every single week. No, well, Harley, welcome back again, mate. It's brilliant to have you back on the podcast, becoming a regular voice.
Yeah.
I do believe. With me also coming into a regular role as well. Welcome back to Danny Lusby. Danny, welcome back.
Hi Matt, delighted to be here again.
Yeah, this is your 3rd episode, isn't it?
It is indeed.
It's fantastic to have you back, Danny. I normally have a new person to kind of ask how the podcast is going and what they think of it, but we've got 2 regulars today, so it should be fun, boys. Yeah. Plenty of to discuss.
Absolutely.
So, to kick off the podcast, obviously, we've had 3 pre-season results since the last podcast. We'll go back to the game that we were building up to last on the podcast, which was Portsmouth at home. A really good friendly. I thought we played well. Harley, I'll come to you first on the thoughts on the Portsmouth friendly.
I thought we played really well, to be honest. Only thing that we didn't create was enough chances.
Obviously losing 1-0.
I know it's only pre-season, but losing 1-0 to Portsmouth isn't a bad result. Good atmosphere at the game. Felt weird seeing the East Terrace empty.
I know, and all painted red.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
It does. But no, I thought it was a good day out. It was just nice to go and watch a bit of football on a Saturday and see how the team's doing. But
yeah, I agree. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, it was a very good friendly. We, like Harley said, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Losing 1-0 to a very strong Portsmouth team, I actually thought we gave him a very good game. I thought, Danny Newton was excellent, worked superb. He worked so hard. His energy is just absolutely brilliant, and I thought I like the look of Denton when he came on as well.
Yeah, I thought Denton played well.
Yeah, I thought we played really well. It's a pre-season friendly at the end of the day. It's just a warm-up match. Getting us all prepared and up for the new season. So
yeah, no, I agree. I just thought it was a nice run out, obviously against a team that are a league above, so it gets us playing at a good standard. I thought we played well, to be honest. I thought we played well. I tend to look at, in those type of friendlies, I tend to look more on the first half, because I tend to think that in those type of friendlies, that's when a lot of the first team players will play. And I know they played in the second half, but then all the trialists start coming on. And so if I look at it, I think the first half was, it was competitive. It was even. We had a couple of good chances. I thought we played quite well. I thought it was a really good friendly to have. And 1-1 against Peterborough and 1-0 against Portsmouth. It's nothing between those games. I think.
No, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, so no, that was last Saturday. Nice friendly for the players to have, and I don't think any injuries ever. I know Luther got a knock, but seems like it's okay now. So we had the Portsmouth loss last Saturday. We moved on to the pre-season friendly at Maidenhead on Tuesday now. Now, I went myself. I don't know if
I didn't,
YouTube boys didn't go.
No, I couldn't make that one.
A little preview on the game. It wasn't the greatest game in the world. Again, it was just good minutes for the players, the first team boys to get minutes in the bag. Could have played better. Probably, in my opinion, the worst performance of the pre-season period. Didn't really do a lot. But again, I was just very happy that none of the players got injured. I mean, Maidenhead were going flying in, and I tend to think that in the back of the minds of the players, I think they thought they didn't really want to get injured in that game, so didn't really commit much. But good friendly to have. I do believe Maidenhead are in the conference as well, so
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, one league below, so it was always going to be competitive. It was just a quick friendly to get out of the way. And then obviously last night was the last of the pre-season friendlies. And during that week was, I think, a Stevenage youth team. It was a few youth boys went to Cheshunt
last night,
and won 2-1. I do believe Liam Smythe got one of the goals as well. So yeah, I mean, not a bad last week on pre-seasons. This Saturday, moving forward, we do have our last pre-season friendly at home against Gillingham. Now, I'm going to come to you with this question, Harley. With it being our last pre-season, this is the last game.
Yeah.
The next game after this is the big kick-off at Salford, because we're only 9 days away, sorry. What do we want to see this Saturday within the team and the performance?
I want to see more flow on the ball, because although we played well and managed to get a few decent results, the football hasn't flowed as well as it did like the end of last season. So I think if we start finding our feet again, and if we get a draw from the game against Gillingham, I think that'd be a really good point to take away. And I think we will see the team that we will start at Salford with on Saturday in the first half.
I agree. I think my thought on this is, in my opinion, I think hopefully this will be the team that we see at Salford this Saturday. I think it'd be good if Dino played the team that he wants to play, so they've had a game together a week before. It's good prep as well.
Yeah, so they know
how the League One side.
And how it's going to go.
Know how it's going to go, get used to the formula. What are your thoughts on it, Dan? What do we want to see? Good performance, results? What do we want this Saturday?
Yeah, we want to see a very good performance. Obviously, the last couple of pre-season games hasn't worked out. Obviously, Portsmouth and Maidenhead we just spoke about. I think we need to be a bit more ruthless up front. A bit more attacking. We need to create more chances as well, because goals win you matches, and we need to work on that before Salford. If we want to win our first game of the season, which is very, very important.
Yep.
That's the thing we've got to really work on, and we're more than capable of doing it. Gillingham are a League One side. They're not a top League One side. It's a team we can beat. I think they're sort of at the same level as us, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, no, I can see that point. I'd like to see a few goals on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us score 2 or 3 goals. Because I know that we've scored one against Peterborough, we didn't score one against Portsmouth, but if you look against the more competitive games we've had, what have we scored? St Albans we didn't, Peterborough we did. We actually haven't scored more than 1 goal in the competitive pre-seasons that we've had. So I'd like to see us score a couple of goals.
Yes,
Saturday, I think.
definitely.
It will be interesting. I'm very excited to see what Dino plays, because obviously, as we mentioned to a bit earlier, this should be the team that he wants to play at Salford.
Yeah.
So
yes.
It'll be interesting to see who he plays at the back, because there's been a lot of debate about Stokes, Denton, Nugent. Obviously, Nugent's back fit now. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Interesting to see who he plays in midfield as well.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I know that we've got quite a few trialists still on the books. Still got, I believe, Tom Sawers. That's obviously been mentioned quite a few times on social media. So I don't know if Dino's going to sign him. I think he might. Sawers has looked good. Another trialist that came out social media the other day that I'm looking forward to seeing play again is last Saturday at Portsmouth. I saw a left wing back playing for us on the left wing role. He looked really familiar, right?
Yeah.
And when he came over to our half in the second half, I knew who it was straight away, because I remember this guy playing for Forest Green last season in the away game, and he ran our right side of the pitch absolutely ragged. And is it Theo Archibald from
I think so,
Forest Green? I know that he's
I
at
heard
Brentford's.
that. Yeah.
And he was playing last Saturday.
He looked very promising.
He did. So that's a big player to have on the
I'm
books.
sure
of the club.
Dino's thinking about signing him up, or
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully he's playing on Saturday and we get to see him again.
Yeah.
But yeah, a few trialists there, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they play Saturday. I think it's a good friendly to have, to be quite honest.
Nice way to end off the pre-season.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting the swing of competitive football again.
I agree, and that's why I'd like to see a win.
Yeah,
Let's get a win in the bag, and let's take that confidence to Salford in League Two, and hopefully we can start the season well. But yeah, so now gone over the last 3 pre-season friendlies, and obviously the last pre-season friendly this Saturday. I have to quickly mention, just before we move on, the new turnstiles and the North Stand at the club.
Yeah.
Obviously, didn't mention it on the last podcast. Going to quickly mention it now. It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
yeah.
To me, I'm feeling more like a Football League club.
It does look like that in the ground now,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It doesn't look non-league anymore.
It looks different. We need something different in the club, don't we? And yeah, it's just great. It's what most Football League clubs have.
I just
ground, so.
I couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
I just thought
it was weird seeing something shiny at the
yeah,
at the ground.
it was just weird seeing a big stand there. We're just used to seeing the white wall, aren't we?
Yeah.
It looked great, and as Stevenage supporters, we're all so proud to have that, aren't we, at the club? And do you know what? It was really good because I was having a chat with a few people in the main stand, and we were trying to visualise what the seats are going to look like and what it's going to look like with people in it. It looks great to have, and obviously we have to mention the new turnstiles. Quick, weren't they, to get in? Very accessible.
Although I did get stuck in the first time.
Oh, did you? Did you get stuck on the first time?
I did, yeah.
Oh, that happens. What
If
about?
I remember rightly, it was. I can't remember what game it was. I think.
Might have been Peterborough.
Peterborough, that's the one. Yeah. I scanned my ticket, went in, it wouldn't let me through. So there was Alex Tunbridge coming over to let me in.
Well, that's what they're saying. I think I've seen you can get your ticket beforehand, but people are getting e-tickets, aren't they, by email, and they're printing them off and scanning that. So again, I think that's going to be. I think the club released that statement that's going to keep for the season. You can print off your e-ticket and scan and let you in, which is quite cool. I think that it's almost like an event, isn't it? When you go to an event, like a comedian event or a concert, you normally print your e-ticket off and scan it. So it's brilliant. It's great to see that. Let's move on then to the next thing. Now, the thing that we're going to talk about now is something that happened after Portsmouth, in between Portsmouth and Mansfield, the game at Maidenhead, was the open day at the football club, the open training session. Now, I love these every season. I think they're brilliant events put on by the club. I went to the one last season and that was great. I
went to the one last year, but not this time.
Not this one. Danny, you went.
I did.
Didn't you? I'll come to you first, Danny. What did you think about it? It was great.
I think it was brilliant. It's lovely to have all the fans coming down to see the lads, and all the children as well enjoyed themselves, and that's what you want to see. It's like a family, isn't it? A family club. I enjoyed playing football with the players as well. That was brilliant. I enjoyed
positive, isn't it?
Getting nutmegged 5 times by Charlie Carter. So if you're listening, Charlie, I still ain't forgotten.
I like the way that Dino tweeted Danny as well on Twitter saying, what did he say again? Something about a contract or a scout or...
You were outstanding, Danny. I'll make sure our scouts keep a good lookout for you. I hope that's still happening, Dino.
Do you know what? It was really good fun. What I loved about it is it kind of seemed to me, and obviously I think you would have seen this last year, Harley, coming last year, is that to me it kind of seems like a celebration for the new season. Everyone gets together.
Because it's not just going and watching training and stuff. You get involved with it, and
with it. Yeah,
they've got stuff going on. Like you can go do penalty shootouts against the people. You can go play football with on like 5 sides.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Like they've got food, they've got refreshments. It's a good day out.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was just great. With such a big season that's coming up at the football club, to celebrate it with the players. Again, it was great to play with the players and get involved. It's really weird because you look at these players as like our heroes on a weekend and a Tuesday night, and it's really weird when you get the chance to actually play the game with them. I was marking Scott Cuthbert for one of the corners, and I was a bit he was marking me, and I thought, I was, because I absolutely love Scotty. I think obviously he's such an amazing player for us, and he's one of my kind of footballing idols at the club, and it was really weird him marking me from a corner. It was great, but
good.
No, it was good. It was really good that we were able to do a Q&A. Dino got involved. It was good to meet the players. I have to mention actually, I had the pleasure of meeting Mark Sampson at the training event. And I got a selfie with him, and I think we spoke for about 20 minutes, and I've got to say, what a fantastic guy he is. He is a lovely guy. We had a chat. And I have never, ever spoken to someone with as much football IQ as this man. We were having a chat, and we were talking about the team, and we were talking about the players. And my God, does he know his football? I just kind of let him talk and just listen to him in this conversation.
Isn't he? And that's the sort of coach we want.
I was just standing there. I was just thinking, I've never actually spoken to anyone with the football IQ that this man has. It was a brilliant chat. I'm very proud and very happy that I got a chance to meet him, get a selfie with him. But he was just talking about Sanupe and Danny Newton and how he improves the players and coaching 1-to-1. And I was just stood there and I was just like, wow, this guy's our coach at the club. It's unbelievable. But he was a lovely guy. We spoke a little bit about Love Island as well.
I didn't enjoy that, does he?
Well, this is really weird. Amy was with me, and he asked, what are you off to do now? I said, we're going to the pub, we're going to go get some pub lunch. And then I went, oh, we're watching Love Island tonight. And he went, oh, not that. And I went, what do you mean? He said to me, he said, the lads are always banging on about Love Island at training. They're watching it. He went, I even think some of the lads fancy a lot of the girls on there. And I said, what, is Love Island not your cup of tea? He said, no, I can't hack Love Island like that. So it was a really funny chat. But I've got to say, what a lovely man he is. He was brilliant to talk to, and so happy he's at the club. Wow. Couldn't believe what he was telling me of his football IQ. It was amazing. But yeah, we just want to have those events every year, don't we, boys? Really?
Of course. I'll definitely go next year.
Yeah. Hopefully a League One open day as well. You never know.
Yeah. Hopefully.
hopefully. Now we'll come on to the next thing. Now, the next section is something that we actually forgot to speak about on the last podcast. So we are very sorry to the listeners that wanted possibly to us to talk about this, but obviously we completely missed it. So we're going to talk a little bit about it now. I'll come to Harley first with this. So obviously it was last week where we found out the full group in our Checker Trade trophy. Obviously the Checker Trade's taken it obviously used to be the Johnson's Paint Trophy, and as soon as it's come to Checker Trade, there hasn't been a boycott towards it, but it feels like people...
There's obviously ongoing issues with the system and the under-23s.
With the under-23s, and losing that kind of association with it. But for clubs like us, it's a financial game, and if we win a game, I do believe you get £5,000. I'm not so sure how...
Yeah, I think it's about that.
It's about that, isn't it? So it's a financial game for the club. I'll come to you. Group: Wickham, MK Dons, Fulham under-23s. What do we think about that? Good group?
It is a good group. Nothing too far away for any of the games. Not Lincoln. Wickham's about an hour away.
It's not far, is it?
Yeah. Milton Keynes half an hour or 40 minutes. I could think of much worse groups. I could think of worse teams having the under-23s pool. Again, I don't agree. I don't like the Checker Trade trophy.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is your honest opinion about this competition? Is it good, is it bad?
I find it very hard to get excited about it because I remember going to the Johnson's Paint Trophy when it was just League 2 and League 1 teams, and it was simply a group and knockout stage between the League 1 and League 2 teams, no under-23s. Because the under-23s, it's not like they don't have cup competitions or the league. And this isn't a dig on the under-23s and such, because it's not their fault. Their clubs have decided they don't want to do it, but they have Premier League 2. They have FA Youth Cup, UEFA Youth Champions League. They have Youth League Cup. They don't need to be in this competition. It's not. And if it's a financial thing for the EFL, I do understand that, but you can't take away the passion that fans had for it 3 or 4 years ago, and then hope that you're going to boost money by having the under-23s, because at the end of the day, the attendances for the games have not improved. No. Not in the slightest. And I just find it really difficult to get excited or talk about the Checker Trade, because for me, I just don't enjoy it. Yeah,
do you know what? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because again, I used to love the Johnson Paint. I used to love the knockout system of that, where there were so many games where we had penalty shootouts. I remember one at Wimbledon, Swindon, where we went really far. And I liked that setup. Now, the Checker Trade, I think it's a little bit disappointing that there's under-23 sides from the Premier League. I would love it to be just League 1, League 2. Even Championship.
I mean, like the lower end of the Championship.
They're part of the EFL.
Exactly.
And then, do you know what I would like? If they made it a group competition, but with the League 2, League 1 and then possibly Championship teams. I think that would be a bit more appealing, and I think that there would be a bigger market for fans to go, oh, do you know what, I'll go to that game, rather than, Fulham under-23s, who wants to go to that? I mean, what do you think on the competition, Danny?
I absolutely agree with Harley. I'm not a big fan of it at all. I liked it when it was just Football League sides in it. I think bringing in these, youngsters from the Premier League, it's just so pointless. They're in the FA Cup youth tournaments and all that, Premier League and all that. And in the Johnson's Paint Trophy, the atmosphere used to be better. Fans used to enjoy it.
I remember there was plenty of atmospheric games.
Yeah,
I always remember it
used
quite
to be open for them games.
Competitive, and I remember the club used to get a big crowd.
Yeah,
for
the
those
club
games
did
as well, didn't they?
And I think Dan.
That's fine.
one of the troubles you have is when, say, like Sunderland make the final and Newcastle under 23s make the final, you're obviously going to get a big crowd for that.
Yes,
so the EFL are just going to look at it and say, well, we got 86,000 at Wembley for the final. It must be a success. No, it's because it's probably the second or third biggest derby in the UK.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, the good thing about it is that you get to see the lads play. That's it.
You get a lot of
game.
Well, that's the positive.
You get a lot of young talent playing as well.
I was just going to bring up this point. I was going to say one of the only positives that I like about the competition is it gives us a chance to bring a few younger lads like Jack Smith. I know Arthur Orrington started playing for the Checker Trader. Now, he made the first team league, didn't he?
I think he's climbed up the ladder now.
I think the tournament could be good for people like Louis Fernandez.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, I think he's a really good impression.
Yeah, he played really well at Maidenhead actually. I think that's what's good about it. I remember Ben Wilmot playing at MK Dons.
Yeah,
again, transcended further. Obviously, we saw that he signed for Swansea. Yeah, indeed. But I think it's a good competition for us at Stevenage to use some of the younger talent in those games. I do believe that there is a rule, however, where they say that we've got to play. Is it 5 or 6 first team players that played in the last game? I think that's one of the rules.
Yeah.
I think that was introduced last season.
In the next one, is that right?
I'm not sure, but I do believe that in the competition there has to be 6 players that played or involved in the first team from the last game. So they make it a regulated thing where there has to be, it can't just be all youth. But
yeah, exactly.
But I completely agree. I think it's disappointing it's not just Football League clubs. I think it'll be a lot more successful. But nevertheless, it's money. We'll see how we do.
Exactly.
We've got MK Dons at home, Wickham away, and then Fulham at home. So
chance to go to Wembley, isn't it?
Well, we've got to win so many games for that. I mean, the Checker Trader, area semi-finals.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a drag as well through the season because it's such a long competition. And it's
I completely agree.
It's like the league, though, isn't it? That's very long. You play, how many games is it in the league? 40 something?
46. Yeah, 23 each.
Yeah, 46 games, you're getting to the playoffs and go Wembley that way.
Yeah, I mean, again, because the club are putting on a game, I guess it's more profit, so there's that element to it as well. But no, it will be interesting to see how we do, and it'll be interesting to see who plays in those games. So I'm very happy we've covered that up because that is something that we did miss last week. So moving forward, we have come on to the new exciting feature. Now, last week we started Harley and Farley's Disagreement Corner. The debate was about the start of Chris Stokes or Tyler Denton. It was a really good debate.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice debate to start. We are going to do a league table for the debate. We'll start that today because I would like Reece Donnelly, who is the Stevenage FC Central Twitter page, to put out a poll who they think, or who the people think, won the debate, and we will start that this week because I do believe Reece forgot to put it up last week. Never mind, Reece. So we will do the debate and starting the league table today. Now, the debate today is a bit of a different one. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, I think you should do a debate about the new badge, the new kits. I think we've spoken a lot about the new badge or kits, and it's very difficult because me and Harley have agreed on the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would be lying if we did it again. Now, a debate that I heard at the open day on Sunday was actually to do with the new North Stand. There were people debating over whether they think that the new North Stand will have an impact on our home results and home performances. So I thought, as a different debate, it would be really good to debate this because I know that a lot of people have been talking about this also last season with nothing being there and some of those poor performances. So it would be good to debate that today. So that is what we're going to debate about. Now, Harley, you are going for... No, it doesn't.
Yes, I will go with no.
No, I will go with yes, I believe it will improve the performances. So Harley's going to go no. Harley doesn't agree with the performances with the new stand. So, again, the format is Harley goes first. Harley gets the honours every single week to go first. He can stick the needle in early. Harley can go first. No butting him. Harley makes his point. Once Harley's done, I will make a point. We'll have a little debate. We'll then bring Danny in and get Danny's thoughts on it. And we'll go ahead. So Harley, when you're ready, 3, 2, 1.
I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in terms of playing performance because I think we've already got a good enough squad who will be able to play at a high level. And I also look at other teams in the league or who've been promoted from League Two who don't exactly have the greatest stands in the world. You look at teams like Accrington. Accrington won the league. I mean, even Lincoln. Lincoln Stadium ain't great. Central Bank ain't the best stadium I've ever seen. They didn't. It's not exactly like it's a 1,000-seater stadium, well, 1,000-seater stand the whole way through. And it didn't seem to make a difference while we had the little North Stand. Because, I mean, I'm not being funny, you only got about 20 or 30 fans in there at a time. It's just, I find this very much a fallacy that having a big stand makes you play better. No, it just makes it shouldn't affect you in terms of being able to play football. You're a professional footballer. Yeah, you probably might get a better atmosphere. But as a professional footballer, you should be able to play football and score goals anywhere you play. It shouldn't make a difference. I'll pass it over to you now.
No, I think there's good points made, especially about the Accrington one. Very good point. I'm going to disagree.
Shock.
I'm going to say that every single week because that's the. I think that it will make an influence. I think that there were plenty of times last season where, don't get me wrong, I know that our home form, if you actually look at the stats, we did win quite a lot of home games, but I remember there was a lot of games where the performance was just diabolical. We nicked results in games. There were games that we lost, i.e. Cambridge, and I just thought the performance last season was just terrible with just nothing behind the goal. And I thought that sometimes it was easy for teams to come and defend that end of the pitch with no one behind that goal. And I think, hopefully, we can get to stand up soon, with a good backing and a support behind that goal, I reckon that it will hopefully, influence the players on a bit more the last 20 minutes of games and playing well in front of that stand. I think that it will have an influence on the team. I also think it could, I'm not being certain of this, but I think it could have an influence on the referees as well. Because I tend to find the amount of times I've seen Borough play away and there's a big stand behind that goal and someone goes down and there's always a penalty given. And I think, oh, God's sake. And I think that with the stand behind that goal, hopefully that will influence referees, as bad as that sounds, up that end of the pitch. I think it will make it harder for teams to defend that goal, especially in the second half. And they haven't just got their own supporters to defend in front of. And I think that, in the last dying moments of games, if we've got a big support behind that goal and we're shooting towards that goal, I think that it will really rally on the team to either nicking a goal or getting a performance or playing well down that end of the pitch. So I think it will influence. It's a tricky debate because there are really good points on either side.
Yeah.
I'll bring you in, Danny. What do you think?
You both made brilliant points. And it is a tricky debate. It's difficult for me to choose, who's right and who's wrong. I thought Harley made a brilliant point about, the North Stand just being a stand, and, the players do have to do the job on the pitch. It's not the stand, it's the players that have to do it on the pitch. And you might, I agree with you what you said about the fans. You might have a better atmosphere, and that might, make the players more eager and push on in games. I agree with that. But it's a very tricky one.
There's been so many games where we'd play a big side and they'd always have a big stand behind the other goal, and I always used to think, oh, here we go, we've got 45 minutes now of defending in front of that stand, and the amount of times I've seen a penalty given, or I'm always remember Southend away in the playoffs, a penalty given, or something happens at the other, and you just think, all influenced by that stand. That's why I say I think that it will make a difference.
I think the players are just used to looking at the old stand, because the new stand, it's all new and it's completely different to the other one. So it will look a bit strange for the players, but I think you'll get a lot more fans in there because it's a brand new stand.
I mean, Holly, do you think there's a better possibility of getting more penalties up that end now? Or...
Yeah, I do think there will be a better chance of getting penalties, and I do agree with the point you made about influencing the referee's decision. Not that it should.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like when you've got fans screaming and claiming for a penalty, I know referees shouldn't have self-doubt, but it does affect them thinking, oh yeah, I will give a penalty for that. Yeah, we'll give a free kick for that. And I know every fan thinks this, but I do genuinely think our fans won't scream or shout for something unless they think it's genuine.
Do you think?
Yeah, obviously there's a couple who will scream and shout for everything.
I hear a couple in the East Terrace shout for offside sometimes. You think, it's not
Yeah,
offside.
but I know exactly who you're on about. But then,
do you? Is there?
Yeah.
I think you do as well. Yeah,
but they do it every time, and me and my dad are like, well, to be offside, you have to be behind the last defender. He was running from the halfway line at the time when it's like.
Do
Do
you know what I don't understand when a goal goes in and they go, that was definitely offside, that was, and I'm like, well, we haven't seen it back yet. The amount of times I've seen a highlight back and it's quite clear that someone's onside.
Yeah, that's what's
no, he's definitely offside.
So my dad
Just
has
to
to
wake up and smell the coffee that it weren't offside.
So
Does
my
my
dad
head
wears glasses, can't see properly, didn't have them on, and he can still tell it was onside.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. It's not unless it's a clear moment where he is offside, like the defender's on the edge of the D and he's by the goalkeeper. You've just got to trust the ref's judgment, or Lino's judgment on that as well, because he's doing it because he believes it's offside. And 99% of the time, yeah, you do get the odd occasion where the Lino ain't great, but they get it right.
Yeah, they get it right.
They do get it right, and I do feel a little bit for Linos. Obviously, we've not got the greatest history of Linos now.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
But they get so much stick. Yeah, they obviously do make mistakes. We haven't got the greatest Linos in the world at League 2 level. But, like I said, 99% of the time they do make the right decision. Yeah, but
it's a tricky one.
It's really tricky.
I mean, until probably VAR comes into the division, which we don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I don't think it will ever come into League 2.
I don't think it will either. It'll be in the top divisions, of course, but
I think it'll be in League 1 and Championship.
Maybe not League 2.
At a push.
Yeah, I completely agree. Interesting debate though, because again, I was listening to it the other day, and again, there were people that make good points for it not making an influence on the game, and then there were good points for it is making an influence on the game. We would like all the listeners to get involved with the poll and see who they thought won the debate, or what is your point on the debate. Again, please follow us at Twitter at TSFC Podcast. And let us know your debate. Still sticking with the Harley? No influence?
No.
It's tough, isn't it? It's tough.
Yeah, I can't decide myself.
What do you go on, Danny? You've got to pick one. It's disagreement corner. We've got to have debate. Go on, choose. Harley or Farley? No, just one word. Harley or Farley?
Harley.
Oh! Harley's got this one, has he?
Get it.
Woo!
When I first listened to him, I know, I agree.
No, fair play. Well, as every week we say with Farley, for Harley and Farley's disagreement corner, I will agree to disagree.
I will agree to disagree as well.
Of course you would.
That is something, but that is a debate we want to build, and we do want to get a voiceover for the debate of that when we do grow the podcast.
We will eventually.
Yeah, that would be a good debate to get the players involved, if there was ever a player or hopefully a coach or Dino to come on the podcast. We will also put out a poll for Harley and Farley's disagreement corner for what debate you'd like to hear next week. So there will be 3 options. Again, Mr. Donnelly is going to do the poll for that on the Stevenage Football Club Central Twitter page. Let us know what debate you want. There will be 3 options. So, really good debate about the new stand and the influence. We will move on to now the League 2 roundup in the pre-season friendly fixtures. Now, last week we went through few teams. We spoke a bit about Plymouth losing to Truro and Torquay. We spoke about Port Vale doing well, Scunthorpe turning around form. We had a little look on Salford, and at the time we didn't know Salford's pre-season friendly. So considering it is 9 days to the big kick-off, we will start with Salford. Salford played Woking last Friday and got beat 3-1, which at home, bit of a shocking result. What are your thoughts on that, boys?
Surprising. I think Salford have built a relatively good squad for this year. I know Woking aren't the lowest level of football you'll ever see, but it's still quite disappointing when you're newly promoted. You want to be, and you're in a good run of form. You want to be continuing the win streak.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you got to win your games. And I know pre-season doesn't mean anything, but
it's not a good start, is it?
It's not a great start.
I mean, compared to how we're playing against the league sides, losing 3-1 to Woking is not great. Obviously, I know we lost to Maidenhead, and people can argue, but
that's not 3-1.
I read the match report.
That's a 1-0 defeat.
1-0 defeat with a lot of trialists playing, and I read the match report on Salford.
And a set piece for a goal.
Yeah, I read the match report on Salford, and they had a full team. So that's not great. Not great. They then played Middlesbrough on Tuesday night at home. Same result, another 3-1 loss.
Yeah, that's more understandable.
More understandable. I did see that they played well in that game, but obviously Middlesbrough being quite a high-profile team in the EFL.
Feels a bit weird seeing Middlesbrough with 3 or more goals.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, but not a great start for Salford. And
no.
Plenty of positives for us, because obviously we start away from home and we know it's going to be a difficult game. So to see that they've lost 3-1 in 2 competitive friendlies, and one they've played shocking in. All right, they've played well in the other, but still letting 3 goals.
It'll boost players. It'll boost Stevenage players.
Again, good point by Harley. The pre-seasons are pre-seasons. I've seen bad pre-seasons with Borough that have then turned into promotions. Yeah. We've then seen good pre-seasons where we've seen the club nearly go down. So take it how you leave it. Other results, other poor results. Now, a team that we didn't mention last week, Crawley Town. Now, Crawley, I've seen 2 pre-seasons. They haven't really won a pre-season at all. They've lost 1-0 to Brighton at home. But obviously Brighton, along with Middlesbrough.
I don't think it's a bad result.
Not a bad result. You could say the same about Portsmouth with us.
Yeah. It's 1-0 against the Premier League team. I'm not sure whether Brighton had a full team or not.
They took a mix.
Yeah, so I think that's quite a fair result.
Fair result. Lost.
Crawley probably played a full team.
Yeah. However, they then played Horsham, got thrashed 3-1. So it's and Crawley took a good side. So it's again, take it how you leave it. But there's 2 losses there and one. I mean, Horsham 3-1. They shouldn't really be losing that 3-1. So yeah, Crawley struggling.
You just want to avoid defeat in pre-season.
Yeah, get a result.
Just draw your games at the very least.
I completely agree. Now, we'll move on to a team that we spoke a lot about last week, which was Plymouth. Now, Plymouth lost to Truro and then lost to Torquay. I've then seen that they have beaten, obviously abroad in Spain, AFC Wimbledon 2-0. Now, I remember, to be fair, we gave Plymouth a little bit of stick last week, thinking, oh my God, they're 2 shocking results. And then I remember saying, well, let's see how they get on against Wimbledon. And they won 2-0 with 2 full teams out.
They bounced back.
So, good result for Plymouth. We will keep an eye on Plymouth over this week. We'll see how they're doing. I think they've got another home pre-season coming up. Be interesting to see them.
Also just signed Jose Baxter.
I saw today. So
it was a player that we've been interested in as well.
Who was
reportedly on Stevenage's wanting list.
I would have liked him.
I would have loved him.
He's a great player.
I think he's at Plymouth for the money, if I'm perfectly honest.
But if you look at Plymouth's team now, they've got a good side. Baxter, mate, they've got good sides.
Their squad's 28 men deep. They've got 28 players.
Call him Berrymouth. Berry.
I think that
the amount of Berry players they've got.
I agree. I think they could be up there. I know that we gave them a little bit of stick last week and it looked quite worrying, but then they just signed Baxter and they've just beaten Wimbledon 2-0. And if you actually look at the accumulation of players they've got, not a bad side. I think they'll be up there. We have to come on to a team. Now, again, we didn't mention this team in League 2 last week, so we'll mention them today. Crewe Alexandra. Crewe have had an absolutely fantastic pre-season. They haven't lost. I will just read some of their scores out. We'll talk about one because one was a really good result. They beat Altrincham 6-0, which Altrincham obviously non-league, good win. They beat Witton 3-0. They've then beaten Curzon Ashton 5-1, so they're scoring goals. And they've just notably beaten Burnley 1-0.
Did Burnley play a full squad?
They did. They took a mixed team. They took quite a strong team there. Crewe played a full team. What do you think about this?
That's a very good result.
Good result, right?
Fantastic pre-season.
I mean, I read this year. Burnley took a mix, a little bit like Portsmouth, bought a mix to off. They took a mix. So Crewe, Alexandra, fair play. It's looking like there's a lot of
I'll say
positives.
Crew win the league now then.
They'll probably finish bottom.
Have a fantastic pre-season and finish in the relegation.
I've seen weirder things happen, boys, honestly.
I think they're my dark horses, Crew, and they have been from the start.
Yeah, I think Crew... I mean, have they kept Porter? I think they have.
They have. And they signed Daniel Powell from Northampton, who I think is a fantastic player.
Very good player, that. So keep an eye on Crew. That's going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on. Obviously, we're not playing them for a while either, are we, Crew? I don't think that's to the winter.
I don't think we have a great record against them either.
Especially away from home. I know we've won a couple of away games there, but tough place to go. Other teams to mention, we'll quickly come on to Colchester. Again, lost surprisingly a few games because I know that they've got quite a strong team. Most notably, they got a big old beating against Ipswich at home, 5-0. I know Ipswich
Ipswich are League One now.
League One had a poor season last season.
It's not great.
5-1.
James Norwood, I think, scored
you see,
hat-trick. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you see other teams playing higher oppositions. You know, you look at Crawley; they only lost 1-0 to Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously that's against Portsmouth. That's not a good result.
No, 5-0 is a bit shocking in a pre-season.
2-0, 3-0, things can go wrong.
It is very
5-0.
shocking because, like I said, you see other teams playing difficult sides. And they've only lost 1 or 2-0.
The thing about the pre-season games, and this is what I'm happy with us, especially when we played the league side, it's all about building confidence as well. You know, if you've got a new team, you want to gel, you want to get good performances and good results. And I've seen at Colchester, I've got quite a few new players. So losing 5-0 at home is not a good result, regardless who you play. All right, if you're playing a Premier League team, you know, it can happen. But League One side who've just had a poor season, I know they've got James Norwood there, but that's not a good result at all. They then played a team that got promoted in Charlton, lost again, 2-1, bit more of a closer game, have scored a goal, but again it's another loss. And after 5-0 it will be interesting to see how Colchester do this
losing
week.
can become a habit. It really can.
It can do. We've seen that at Stevenage as well, haven't we, with certain managers. So it'll be interesting to keep a track on Colchester. Mansfield again have had resembled summer. A lot of players leaving, a lot of players coming. They've got a 2-2 draw against Hull City. Hull brought a relatively full side. Good result for Mansfield.
4-goal thriller.
4-goal thriller. Now there is a team that I do want to come on to. Third League 2 fixture of the season for us. Leyton Orient away. Now I'm very excited for that. That's going to be a cracking day in London.
Saturday afternoon.
Can all go, have a few drinks in London, make a big day of it, and go and see Stevenage there. We normally always play them at the start of the season. Leyton Orient, obviously, with the sad news what happened to Justin Edinburgh, which was awful in the summer, they've had a fantastic pre-season. They're undefeated.
They have.
They're scoring goals. Their most notable result, exactly the same as Mansfield, drawing at 2-2 with Hull, and Hull played a full side. A full team. Mansfield, it was a mix. Leyton Orient, they played a full team. And Leyton Orient got a 2-2 draw. And apparently Leyton Orient missed an absolute sitter with about 10 minutes to go to win the game. So, Leyton Orient, I think third game of the season is going to be really tough. Could be tougher than Salford.
Always is. It is a very difficult
Leyton Orient is
game.
always a tough game. Always a tough game.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Always has been. And we've got some good results there. We've also got some poor ones with the beat 3-0 there, haven't we? I'm looking forward to that game because I actually think that'll be a more difficult game than Salford. I think that with winning the conference, as we know as winning a conference side ourselves, the momentum it brings, but with all the stuff that's happened to them over the summer, which is obviously dreadful news, I think that will really rally them this season. I think they'll be a really difficult side. And I think Salford will take a few months to get going since their first ever kind of season in the league. Leyton Orient doing really well. Again, it'll be good to see them over the next week and some of the pre-seasons before the season. It's been quite nice to cover a few different teams that we haven't done. Again, there are a few League 2 ties playing League 1, so we'll go through it again next week on some of the other teams in the pre-season. But really good League 2 round-up. It was quite good to look through that today. So we'll move on to the fans Q&A section.
Lovely.
Now, I do like this section. This is, I've got to be honest, along with Harley and Farley's Disagreement Corner, this is one of my favourite sections of the week, I have to be honest. I will quickly get up. We don't have many questions today. I think we have about 5, I do believe. So we don't have many questions. I did tweet last night, so obviously I think the heat, everyone doesn't really, is in on the computer or the laptop at the minute. So we will go first. We will go around in a rotation. I'll come to Harley with the first question. Now, this question was sent in from Aidan Habibi, once again. Aidan has commented about the Ilias chair once again, which I think Aidan has done for the last few weeks. Aidan's question is, we're going to struggle without Chair this season. We have lost him now and seem to be the same old Borough we were before him looking at these pre-season games. Lack of creation and lack of goals. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, because I think Ilias Chair was a 1 in a million player that we managed to get. Would we have done as well as we did last season without him? No. But the other players still had to step up and play at the same level, or around that level, to be within a chance of being in the promotion push. You look at, like, say, Curtis Guthrie, he stepped up majorly. We'll get like 6 goals in 4 games or something.
And like 4 assists or 5 assists as well.
And you can have a standout player, but that doesn't make a good team. You've got to have the good team balance. You've got to have the good team personalities. You've got to have that good team momentum. Otherwise, I find it very much like Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
They've got great individual players, but last season they played really poorly because they lost a great personality in Ronaldo, and they couldn't play as a team. So if you build, but I think we've got that now with Dean Parrott again.
I completely agree.
I think having Dean Parrott back at the squad is going to make so much of a difference.
He's a quality player, Dean. I love the goals that he consists of and assists and scores himself. Good player. Other thing I just want to say as well about that, a question from Aidan, is with everyone fit in the new team that we have, I actually think we have a better team than last season.
I do as well.
With I know that Digby's out injured, but with a fit team, or even if Digby's not fit, with players that hopefully Denny's going to sign, I actually think we've got one more depth in the team, and I think, I know Elias did a lot for us at the back end of last season. You could say he was probably one of the main reasons for us having that late run, but you can't just have one player who you rely on. Again, I think Reece said it on last week's podcast. There was a period of time where Ilias didn't really do much, and then he came into his own. So, in my opinion, I think the team we've got now is better. So I think, let's wait and see how we do in the league. We might start the league and we might start with 3 wins in a row, and then everyone's thinking, oh, actually, no, we don't even miss Chair. So I think we've got to wait till the team plays league. But if you compare this team now, as it is with the trialists we've got on board, compared to last season's team, I know which team I favour all day long. But no, good question, Aidan. Thanks for sending it in. Next question is going to come to you, Danny, from Mike Harneman. Mike has asked, if we could sign one player within reason that would come straight in and improve us now, who would you sign and why? Good question,
Good question, Mike. Obviously, we all know Dino's looking at 4 or 5 more quality signings. I think he said that after the Maidenhead game. He wants more quality. Like we've got quality, but he just wants a bit more, which I agree. We need that. We do need a backup striker. I know we got Danny Newton and Curtis Guthrie up front.
Also, we've got Cowley there, but obviously Cowley's injured and we haven't really seen him.
Yeah,
Cowley's out for a while as well.
That's a shame, that, isn't it? Really, I was looking forward to seeing him play.
Newton and Guthrie are our main strikers, and we just need that backup one.
Do you think he'll get 2 more, or do you think he'll just sign 1 more?
I think we only need 1. I think we've got plenty of attackers. I think we're fine up front.
I think he'll sign 2 more, but I do only think we need 1 more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think he'll sign. He'll sign 2, but probably only 1.
I would love to sign Tom Sawes.
I agree.
I think I can see us signing him. I do think we'll give him a contract. I just think like a player like him at League 2 level, at the age of 32, I think he's an absolute unit and a beast.
I've been impressed with him as well. I think he's been really good on the ball.
He's been the better of the trialists.
He's played for Crystal Palace as well. He's played for some big clubs, and he started. Am I right in thinking
Wimbledon as well.
He played in the Premier League, I believe. So
for Palace.
God, experienced player.
Was that in his youth times though, when he was younger?
It would have been when he was much younger.
Younger, yeah.
But
I tell you what, he brings a lot of captain attributes to the team. I've heard him talking all the time, more than levelled with Scott Cuthbert, so he could be a vice captain. You never know.
So my answer to that, Mike, is I'd sign Tom Sawers in midfield.
Really good.
I think Dino's keen on the midfield.
Really good answer to that, Danny. Now I'm going to take the next question. I do believe we've got 2 more after this, so Harley and Danny will answer one more. Now this question was sent in from Jamie Wren. Now Jamie has asked, is it just me that finds it frankly embarrassing that Dino has managed to make 2 key signings which have turned out to have long-term injuries? Haven't seen any other clubs making mistakes like this in the EFL. Now, I'm going to take this question. I don't think it's embarrassing. I completely trust Dino with the team. I think Dino's done a superb job with the recruitment over the summer, and I think he's transformed the team to, hopefully, obviously we haven't seen any league football yet, but to be a real competitive side up the top in the top 7. Injuries are injuries, and they can happen to anyone. I think that Jason Cowley's injury is down to the fact that he's had to make the leap, and sometimes when you make that big leap,
trouble is when he done the medical exam, it should have been picked up.
Yeah, true. Very good point.
That's the thing.
Very good point.
For some reason, it didn't.
Yeah, very good point. Paul Digby, I think it's just one of those things. He's got a bruise on his bone, I do believe. I mean, it could happen to anyone. I think that, Ben Kennedy, I do believe, was already injured.
Yeah, it was.
So Kennedy you can rule out.
Definitely long term.
Luther Wilding last week, he got kicked in the game, went off. You can't help that. That's just part and parcel of the game. I don't think it's embarrassing.
I think physically Dino's fault, is it, that the players get injured?
If Dino was running the players absolutely ragged in training, and he overdid training, and a few of them kept pulling muscles, and I would go, do you know what? Maybe but again, it's pre-season. You want to work the team. They're getting fit. Obviously, you don't want to work them into the ground, but they need to get fit. This league, I think, is going to be a really competitive division, and you need to have the team fit. Thanks for that question. We'll quickly fly through these next 2 because we are running out a bit of time. Come back to Harley for this question. This was sent in by Craig Keegan. Can we realistically expect to start well with the squad so light?
Yeah, I think we can. I think if we do have the right balance and we have the right team out, not having the squad, because at the end we do have the squad depth. It's just got a couple of injuries. So it's not like we haven't got the backup if we need it. So because there's a chance Digby's back for Salford.
I'm hoping for that. Yeah.
Because the thing is, if we've only got, say, 20 players, a couple of them youth, say like Liam Smith or Louis Fernandez, they've been playing pre-seasons against relatively good opposition and holding their own. So I think we do have enough of a squad to get a really good start to the season. So there's nothing wrong having a couple of young players on the bench, because the only way you're going to improve is and see if they're good enough is play them in the games. Yeah,
I completely agree. Really good answer, Harley. Last question. We'll quickly fly through this because again we've been going for nearly an hour, boys. It seems to be a theme every week of the podcast. It's good. We haven't even in the season yet, and we're getting an hour. Do you imagine what it's going to be like in 2 weeks' time? My word. Yeah, probably. So this last question was sent in on Twitter by Patrick Jackson. This is for you, Danny. Question is, how worried should we be by the number of players missing chunks of pre-season due to injury and the fact that we seem to be struggling to create chances at the moment?
Right. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time that it's been mentioned about injuries, I believe.
Yeah,
obviously with the injuries, like I've said, it's no one's fault. I think, the players like Kennedy, Digby and Cowley, they're just unfortunate, and I don't think we should worry because we've got a fit squad already, and hopefully Digby will be back for Salford, which it's only just over a week now.
Yep, 9 days away.
Fingers crossed he's back. If not, he'll be back for Exeter at home. So it's not the end of the world.
No.
They'll get fit again. It's not like they're not going to play at all. I don't think we should worry at all. I think Digby is a loss at the moment because I think he's a very promising player.
But Sawers can come in and cover. It's no problem.
Exactly. Yeah. If we sign Tom Sawers, that'll be massive.
Yep. Completely agree. Really.
And what was the last bit you mentioned in his question?
About creating chances with the lack of players we've got, but that's not going to be an
It's pre-season. The players are not going to overdo it. I mean, you've got to impress in pre-season, but you don't want any injuries.
Yeah.
And pre-season means nothing.
I agree. No, really good answer, Danny. Thanks for answering that. It was really, really good. Thanks for your question there, Patrick. So that's come to the end of the Q&A section. Again, thank you to all the fans sending in the questions. There'll be another tweet next week. I'll do it even earlier so we can get a lot of questions for the big opener next week. So we've gone through basically everything today.
Yeah.
So currently, as we're sitting here, boys, 9 days to go, and this time next week is going to be the big build-up for our first League Two fixture into the season, 7th campaign. How are we feeling? Excited?
Feeling good. I'm excited.
I'm absolutely buzzing.
Very confident we can get 3 points.
Oh, it's going to be great, and I'm infused to see how this team does, because I really believe in not just the players, the coaching staff and everyone involved at the club for a new era of the season. Thanks again to all the listeners listening in. There is something that I am quickly going to do on the podcast, really quickly, just before we end off. Now, we want to be able to provide an opportunity on the podcast to call out for local businesses and local events going on. And an event has got in touch with us that they would like us to just quickly call out and promote this event. And this is something that we want to do on the podcast. And if there is a business, a local business or an event going on and they want extra promoting, please get in touch with us via Facebook or on Twitter at the Stevenage Football Club Podcast, and we'd be happy to call it out for you. Now, on Sunday, the 18th of August, there is a Hearts and Essex Country Fair. It is in Brent Pelham. At the fair, there's going to be loads of really good things going on. There's a family dog show. There will be horses. There's going to be a range of refreshments which will be available. Teas, bars, hog roast, barbecue, pizzas, etc. Sounds like it's going to be a really good day. There's a heavy horse class commencing at 10:30 and the main ring displays at 11 a.m. Gates open at 10:30 a.m. Trade stands and other inquiries, please call 07917 665340 for any further details. It would be great to get a big crowd down there and to really promote that event. That sounds absolutely fantastic in Brent Pelham on the Sunday the 18th. So fellas, thanks again. 4th episode done and dusted. Again, next week is going to be an exciting podcast to build up to the opening day, seeing Borough at Salford. Also next week will be the start of the Stevenage Football Club podcast prediction league table. So, big round of applause. So, I will be sending out a tweet on Monday for people's predictions. There will be prizes for the winners at the end. We're going to do a top 4 finished prizes, and there will be the worst loser prize as well, who finishes bottom, because there needs to be one. Hopefully in the next coming weeks, once the season starts, we're going to be doing fans competitions as well. Thank you to all the listeners. This is the next big podcast at the football club. Have a very good week. We will see you next week for the big opener podcast against Salford. Thank you very much. You've been listening to the Stevenage Football Club podcast.